Welcome to Dropbear and Panda.
Save the world.
I'm Panda.
I'm Dropbear.
And this is...
Season 1.
Episode 13.
What? 13? The unlucky episode.
What are we going to do? Are we going to break stuff?
Maybe.
Well, he already turned on the dishwasher. I don't know if you can hear that.
God damn it.
Still better than the construction that actually hasn't happened for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, well, so that's weird. So if you are a regular listener, you will know that we've been suffering under the cloud of construction. We're besieged on all sides.
Blech.
So the north side, now the south side. And I think, I don't know this for a fact, so I'm not stating this as fact, but I think that they're in trouble.
Yeah.
We had some people come up and carve up the street and drop the utilities in, but then they only paved half the street back.
And we never saw them again.
We haven't seen workers in there doing stuff. Next door to the city of Calgary came by and took down a whole bunch of numbers. Then the next day they came and finished paving the road because there's a giant hole in the road. Including
the sidewalk and the curb or something. Yeah. Like they fixed it. The sidewalk is still closed.
Yeah.
But it's been silence over there. Crickets. Nothing.
Which is great, which just makes me wonder why the hell I started the dishwasher just before this podcast. I know. Anyway, so the company's name is United Builders.
Are they even a thing besides this house?
I think it's a new thing, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. The guy's name that runs is Kamal, I think. And I'm pretty sure he's a chartered accountant here in town. And he's been pretty standoffish. He hasn't been around at all. He's just had a bunch of people that he's done work for, I think, come in and do work for him.
And when we first met him, he was very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely man.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But things have been weird.
Hasn't shown up really on site since. Or I haven't seen him at least. I mean, I couldn't say whether maybe he comes at midnight and checks things out.
Could be.
But it is really one of the dirtiest construction sites I've ever seen in my entire life. And
half the time the safety fence is open.
Yeah.
There are boards that have nails pointing up instead of down.
Yeah, we've got our fence has been destroyed.
Our cat gets through it all the time.
It's insane. Anyway, but at least we're not listening to them today.
Yes, we'll just. Can you hear that, listeners? That's our dishwasher.
That's the pre-soak is what you're hearing right now.
Yes, we'll update you later on what else is going on. Might I say, Michael, that you're looking very... I was going to say dapper. Oh, my goodness. You're kind of dressed for the summer and pirating and the winter at the same time.
I'm a little bit of all the things. Because it's been a bit of a crazy day. It's been an all things day today.
Yes.
Yeah. Started the day by doing a motorcycle tour of Calgary.
With a sidecar.
Yeah, with Rocky Mountain Sidecar Adventures.
Oh, I want to do that so badly.
Oh, it's so much fun. Yeah, me and this guy Mark took this lovely couple around Calgary, showed them all the sites, showed them Dropbear's Calgary.
Oh God, no!
Yeah. Did
they survive it?
They did, and they loved it. It was 90 minutes of glory.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I've never been in a sidecar, and I would love to be in one.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
So these guys actually have a replica of the sidecar from Indiana Jones with the machine gun mount.
I think I just died a little bit.
Yeah. It's so God. Cool. Yeah,
the machine mount is there too?
Yeah, the machine gun mount is there. They've also got, so they primarily have Urals, or Ural, if you're from Russia.
If you're Badger.
If you're Badger from Russia. And one of them is the military paint scheme, like a tan military paint scheme, with a spotlight for the person to... Oh yeah, I know you'd love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
So you can check them out. They're on TripAdvisor. Search Rocky Mountain Sidecar Adventures here in Calgary. We do I just did one yesterday that was through the foothills. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's so much fun. We went all the way down to Turner Valley, came back up through came back up right through the foothills of Calgary. We're just on the east side of the Rocky Mountains. That's where Calgary lives. And we are mostly prairie, Calgary is mostly prairie, just leading into the foothills. Mm. So it just starts getting a little rolly. And we took these people down for, it was a 4-hour tour, all the way through.
4-hour tour.
It was amazing. Yeah, we went out the 22X towards the mountains, carved down 37th Street into Plumber's Road, which is this super twisty, turny, windy road. Tons of birds of prey. They've got like elk there. They got bison.
And a beautiful day for it too.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Last couple of days have been great.
Yeah.
And then so he's got this skull and crossbones pirate bandana on, and then he has his Dropbear and Panda t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then
the V-neck.
With the V-neck Dropbear and Panda t-shirt, black with white writing. Mm-hmm. And then he has a wool scarf on as well.
That's right, and it's the Gordon Tartan.
Gordon Tartan.
And you picked it up for me when you went to the Highland Games.
Yes, I went
Highland
to
Games?
the Calgary Highland Games.
Yeah.
It was the 105th annual Calgary Highland Games. Calgary has a huge Scottish history, which you could tell with the name Calgary.
I had that talk today. Did you know that we pronounce it wrong? So if you're a native to Calgary, like if you're a...
It's Calgary.
It's Calgary. If you come, you will always know somebody who comes from outside of Calgary because they say Calgary.
Yeah.
And that is actually the proper pronunciation.
Bite your tongue.
No, it's true. That is the name of the place in Scotland. It's our namesake. It's Calgary.
Calgary.
That's right. Calgary.
All right.
Glenmore.
I am apologizing to all my fellow Scotsmen. That's terrible. Yeah. I'm actually Canadian. I know a handful of people in England, and they're like, no, you're not Scottish Canadian. You're Canadian. And I'm like, but my last name, I'm totally Scottish. No, you're Canadian. Yeah. But I'd never been to the Calgary Highland Games before, and I'd never been to anything like that before either. So they had a bunch of games. They had a soccer pitch there with guys playing soccer.
It was at the rugby center, though, wasn't it?
It was at the rugby center,
okay.
Yeah. No rugby, though, just Highland Games. Yeah. And they had tents for people, selling anything from swords and bodkins to how to... measure out enough fabric for your tartan.
What's a bodkin?
It's like a dagger.
Oh, okay.
Basically. They mention it in Hamlet.
Oh.
The bear bodkin.
Oh, you'd know that, wouldn't you?
I know, I would.
Yeah, because you're in this play, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that another time. And, like scarves and ties and hats and purses and, like, everything under the sun. Chainmail even. Like, they had tons of stuff. And then they had the Highland dancing, and they had the bagpipes and whatnot. And I could find... So Michael's family comes from the Gordon clan.
That's right.
I have my own actual clan.
Well, aren't you fancy? If I could jump in for a sec, I was just in Victoria. My dad has got this gigantic Bible.
Yes.
And I took pictures of it because it's got like the family tree written in it. And he was showing me Ancestry.com. He's done a bunch of work on that. Mm-hmm. And we are from all over Scotland and Northern Ireland.
You're just scattered willy-nilly.
We are willy-nilly. I thought we were our family was purely from Dundee. Uh-huh. So, like Aberdeen and Dundee. But we're fucking everywhere.
Like a pestilence. Or a mold that just keeps growing. We're from the Isle of Mull, which actually has Calgary.
Huh.
Yep.
Go figure.
I know. I need to go there someday. I've been to Edinburgh for like a day. Obviously wasn't enough time. Yeah. But I
feel that's completely different.
The fun thing was I could only find one Gordon anything.
Well, sure.
Which was the scarf. I couldn't find a McLean scarf. Oh. That's M-A-C, capital L-E-A-N, by the way.
My family crest is 3 ducks on a pond.
Oh, it's so cute.
No, it's ferocious.
Mine's a castle. Virtue mine honor, bitches. That's what mine's going to say, with the bitches on the end. But what's really neat is they had tons of ties, McLean ties,
oh yeah, sure,
ties, and we have
super cute one of those ties.
Oh yeah, okay. But we have 6 tartans, so we have the ancient, and we have the modern. We have the dress ancient and the dress modern, and we have the battle ancient and the battle modern. So they are anywhere. Some of them are blue and green, like the Gordon one you're wearing.
Some of them are blood soaked.
Well, and some of them are red, like bright red and whatever. It's just really neat. So I was looking at those. I was looking at those, and I was like, I don't know which one I'll buy, so I just didn't.
Huh. Interesting.
Maybe next time. Huh. But I have realized that Scotsmen and Scotswomen just really like to throw heavy things.
It's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the caber toss?
I missed the caber toss.
Shit.
I had to leave before then. That was close to the end.
Okay.
But there was
how they try to get you to stay. It's like, wait for the caber toss.
I know.
I'm sorry, Scotland.
And I'm so bad. There was like a giant heavy ball on a stick that they wound around and through, and then
like
there was
mace kind of thing,
but it didn't have the spikes on it. But it was, and then there was the one on the chain, which was the mace.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think we just like throwing heavy stuff.
Yeah, seems fair.
Yeah.
What better way to stop the English advances than throwing heavy shit at them?
It's true.
Yeah,
it's very true. But I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, especially the ladies, there were a lot of men in kilts wearing them really well.
Nice. Did they have like little ankle socks with the tassels on them?
Some of them did.
Or not tassels, whatever they are. They're like little
yeah.
bookmarks.
Yeah, some of them had the traditional Scottish dress with the kilt and the shoes and the little socks. And like then some of them would have that with like a cool vest and that big like lumberjack beard.
Shit.
And some of them had like the old school kilts, but they had the army boots with the tattoos. And I took my mother to this, and we were both quite happy.
You had the drool.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
oh,
and you're
amazing.
pulling off your scarf quite nicely with your pirate.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a little conflicted right now.
Why?
Well, just like obviously I've got all this stuff going on. I'm like biker Scotsman right now.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't
honestly,
think so. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all. Anyway, so that's really cool, and I'm sorry that I missed it. I was away seeing my family.
Yeah, you were in the ocean.
Yeah, and so that was cool. I went kayaking.
I know.
I sent you a picture. It was really cool.
You sent me a few pictures, and I was very upset at all of them.
Yeah. And I was going to say, actually, just as an addendum to that, that you can actually... We produced a CD for a Scotsman here in Calgary.
We sure did.
His name is Calum Lykan. He's a Scottish storyteller from Edinburgh.
From Scotland.
Yeah, used to do it. And we produced his CD, and you can get that... Go to our website. You can track it down there. Or you can go to CD Baby and just search for Calum Lykan Scottish Bedtime Stories.
And I believe he's also the... runs the Bothy podcast. Bothy? On Spotify.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you can find him on iTunes as well.
Oh, he's everywhere.
He's on the Alberta Podcast Network, whatever.
And he's a lovely gentleman.
Who wears a pleated kilt.
Like a legit kilt. Yeah. Like a giant piece of fabric that's just folded correctly. I do tell him that his sporran looks like a dried up testicle / walnut.
It does. It's a little... And maybe that's a thing, though. It could be a rite of passage.
I think he said that's why he wears it. Because that's what it looks like, and he thinks it's funny. He's quite the guy. Anyways, lovely storyteller.
So weird. Anyway, you can check it out.
There's a lot of weird things going on in the last couple days.
Okay, so let me hit something that's not quite as, as some stuff. Actors who work for a living. Let's talk about that for a second. So that's been in the news. I don't know why it's news, but there was a guy who had a recurring role on The Cosby Show.
His name is Jeffrey Owens.
That's right. And he was the husband of...
Sandra. He's Elvin.
Elvin.
Yeah.
Cool. And he's done other stuff since. Continues to do stuff. But he got outed as being a cashier at... what the heck was it? He was at Trader Joe's as a cashier. He checked groceries.
Yeah.
And somebody freaked out and it went fucking viral across the internet. Who the fuck cares? Why is this news? Why is this a thing, people?
I don't know whether it's news because it was such a big show and there would be royalties and how can he be working at Trader Joe's?
Syndicated and stuff like that, yeah.
But again, it doesn't hurt you. It's none of your business. Maybe he likes doing that. All jobs are relative. He's been very gracious about it as well.
Right. Well, maybe he's actually studying for a role as a cashier in this huge blockbuster movie that's coming up. You don't know.
You don't know. Or maybe he just really enjoys working with people and the people that he sees there.
Right.
And and if he needs the money or not, again, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
That's why, you hear about people who move to LA and they can't land a role, so they're all waiters and waitresses and bar staff and whatever. It's pretty freaking normal. So I'm wondering if that's the only reason that it's such a big thing is because the Cosby Show was so huge. huge.
Yeah, it was. And I guess it's one of those, oh my God, I thought you'd be like raking in the millions. And, you know, I'm sure he's getting royalty checks.
Yeah.
But, you know, at this point, how much can that, you know, support a family? Mm-hmm. Maybe not. Maybe he needs to have this to, you know, kick it over the edge, you know, so his kid can go to a school or buy a car or whatever.
Yeah, and maybe there's a point where you just, you know, you have money and you just kind of get bored of the same old shit too, right? Again, none of our business. Why it's a thing. Yeah. Who cares? There are tons of people who went from acting to do something else.
Yeah.
Whether it be a tattoo artist or Trader Joe's or, you know, a philosophy professor, whatever.
Do you have a job? Check. Yes or no.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
are you just, you know, spending all your money on cocaine and heroin and being in the news because you're a terrible person? That's another side of the entertainment industry we hear so much about. Why not celebrate the fact that this person's got a job?
And he seems totally fine with it, right?
And seems happy.
It's like, I mean... Like in Calgary, I don't know what it's like for anywhere else, but if you were, let's say, a professional actor in Theatre Calgary or something like that, I'm pretty sure that once you're done your show, you're basically unemployed until you get hired for the next show.
Oh, for sure.
How are you going to pay your bills in the meantime? Yeah. Right?
Oh, exactly.
You're going to have a job anyway, and again, it's not the Cosby Show, but people have jobs.
You would be surprised to hear, listeners, that both Panda and myself have day jobs.
What? You mean we're not fabulously wealthy?
I would like to point out at this point, though, that thank you so much for subscribing to YouTube. Because after our last couple episodes, we've been bumping the YouTube, and we've seen a big jump in our subscribers. So thank you so much for doing that. It's actually been surprising. Even today was surprising. It just keeps happening. So
Dropbear had to get up early with me, basically. I have to get up at 6 o'clock every morning. And he just checked his computer once this morning at like 6:05 and went, "What?" Yeah. And that's how we know.
It's true.
It was great.
Anyway, so I mean that's that side of the entertainment news. In the other side of entertainment news,
there's a lot of news.
Oh my goodness. New York Times ran this op-ed piece. We don't know who it was, but we know that they knew who it was, but they're not going to tell us who it was.
I like how you lumped this in with entertainment news.
Right? Well, it's op-ed. so it is. It's 100% entertainment. And it's got people spinning all over. Right, so this person, male or female, we don't know.
There are theories. We'll get into that. And
certainly very articulate. And I read through their submission. What they had presented, and
what was published.
Yeah, what was published, and I'm of two minds about this. I mean, on one side, oh God, thank you that somebody's looking after stuff in the background.
That isn't just a page or something.
Yeah. The other side is stop being wishy-washy and fucking do something meaningful. I mean, great, you wrote an article and you're letting us know that things are okay.
They're not okay.
They're not okay. Like, deal with that shit.
They're just better than they could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I can't imagine. Like, you can hunt sleeping bears now. There's national parks that are disappearing.
If you're a hunter, though, don't you want to sleep the bears or hunt the bears when they're sleeping? You wouldn't want to hunt like a bear when it's awake. That's dumb.
The look I'm giving him right now is of utter, like, venom.
Right. But you understand what I'm saying. That this is totally in the hunter's favor. You know, get them while they're asleep. Don't get them when they're awake, because they will fuck you up when they're awake.
I saw an article where a hunter and his kid killed baby cubs and the mother in the den. That? People do, because they're allowed to now. Because at least when the bear's awake, you have a fighting chance. Right. When they're sleeping, they don't. Yeah. So it's dumb.
I think we should arm bears.
The 12-inch claws on each hand are clearly not enough.
Clearly not enough. We need to have like little, what are they? They have them in the desert now. They've got like little drone machine guns that if they pick up movement, they just shoot blindly. We just throw those on the backs of bears. See
what?
Cowbell save
we
that
might
shit.
Have to get back to that later. Yeah. So the op-ed piece said, you know, we've done some great stuff though. You know, this is how you know that we're working from the inside. And I read that and I was like, what great stuff. Yeah. I mean, really, where we hear about the horrible stuff.
Sure.
Right? I mean, again, we're Canadian. we get the news right?
And what do we know? Let's have that little disclaimer right now. We only know what we read in the news. We don't have an inside track anywhere.
Not at all.
No.
Not in the least.
So Trump could have written that op-ed piece.
Well, the theory
I'll tell you what, I'm working on the inside.
Yeah.
It's a very good inside. It's the best inside. Sorry, what's the theory?
So the theory is it's Mike Pence.
Oh, shit.
Because of one very specific word. Lodestar?
Yeah, Lone Star.
Lodestar.
Lodestar.
Because he apparently uses it all the time. That word all the time. Because who else does?
Pence?
Nobody. But other people are saying, well, why would Pence be that stupid? Like, honestly stupid. It could have been anyone else who used that word to throw people off. Right?
Wow.
So, who the hell knows?
It is a crazy mixed up world.
But now Trump is saying that the New York Times should turn whoever wrote it, turn them over to the government, like now.
Why?
Because he thinks it's treason. Huh.
He thinks that's treason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is treason.
Because you're working against your president.
Treason is not working against your president. Treason is working against your country.
Yes, which is, well, just...
Should we agree to disagree, America?
I'm not saying... Yeah. Things are just weird down there.
Yeah.
They're so weird. And... yeah, unbelievable. And he's in talks right now with our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, about NAFTA still. And we had mentioned this 2 weeks ago, I think, and last week maybe. We've mentioned it quite a few times.
Right.
And apparently there was a leaked article that was sent to the Toronto Globe and Mail or something that basically said that Trump actually said he has no desire to
work in good faith
at all.
Yeah,
at all.
And it wasn't like a leaked article so much. It was, he said, and later admitted, he said it was off the record.
Yes.
And
you're right.
the whoever leaked this, you're right, it's a leak, whatever, basically said, nope, fuck, that's on the record. It's on the record. Here it is. There's a record. He actually said that, which is interesting.
He actually owned up to something.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the things where he couldn't possibly ever deny. It wasn't something that he's denying from 3 years ago, and then he was like, "Oh shit, I did say that."
Oh, wait till next month though. He'll deny that.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
So I don't know how Trudeau or anyone else can go in there and think that they're going to be able to come out with a deal, because he clearly said that he was not going to make any deal, and fuck Canada, basically.
Right. Well, and fuck everybody, I think was the message.
Yes.
Was it's all
he has a deal with Mexico.
It's all but it's the deal that he wants.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know that it's necessarily the deal that Mexico wants. Mm-hmm. They just want a deal. I think now I've got mixed feelings about Trudeau. We should get that out in the open right now. Like Justin, he's cool. He's all right. I don't really have anything against him. I got stuff against his dad. The national energy crisis back in the 80s.
Yes, but that was in the 80s. Let it go.
Right. He said the best thing ever about NAFTA recently.
So simple.
Right? No NAFTA is better than bad NAFTA.
Out of the words of the young boxer that is running Canada right now.
Yeah, and I was just like, fuck yeah. Let's just not have that until we have something that works for everybody.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I applaud all the machinations that are keeping this weird trade agreement, like, equal. Like, let's have that. We've got fuck tons of fresh water up here. We've got great natural resources. Yeah. We've got amazing people. There's, Americans come up here all the time.
Well, it's something I said before is the problem with the wheeling and dealing that Trump is doing is he's used to doing this with corporations, and he can have choices of who else to go to. There's only one Canada, and there's only one Mexico.
Yeah.
There's only one China, right?
Don't fuck this up.
We don't all
right
make certain products or supply certain products, right?
This is a give and take.
This is why it's sort of supposed to be a friendly thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Canadians who don't like Trudeau. There's a lot of people who do love Trudeau. Yeah. But I think most people can agree that this NAFTA thing is just foobard, and Trump is not in favor of anybody right now up here. They're all, I wouldn't say they're pro Trudeau, but they're they understand that Trudeau's basically doing his best.
What was that? Oh God, we've referenced this before. That the Christmas movie that I watched, the rom-com, Love Actually. Like, this is a very Love Actually kind of moment. Like when the Prime Minister of England, stands up to the aggressive American president, and we're a tiny nation, but we're fierce and blah 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 blah. Oftentimes, I think about that. I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, we're watching that actually happen.
Yeah.
At least I hope that's what's happening.
And it's always kind of, I believe, and for the last while anyway, when we have a liberal government, America has a conservative, and then vice versa. Like when Obama was in office, we had Harper.
Yeah.
And now we have Trudeau, and he and Obama overlapped by like 6 months, and it was a glorious bro love 6 months, and then Trump came in and
it destroyed it.
The cycle's just weird, so I'm really scared what Canada's gonna do.
Yeah, well, you do have to wonder. So, like last time we talked, impeachment was in the air, and Trump went and threw this smoke bomb out to the world, to distract us from the impeachment process. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking at the exact same thing now, where there's another smoke bomb, but it's coming from, a source to the New York Times to make us think that, well, maybe we shouldn't impeach the president. Let's not do, what is it, Article 25 of the Constitution?
Yeah. Well, some people say that if you impeach him, what comes after him could be much worse.
Well, but let me put it this way. So Bob Woodward is putting out a book, September 11th of all fucking days, called Fear, right? With the subtitle of Trump in the White House. So for those of you that don't know, check it out. Woodward and Bernstein are the ones that hit Watergate back in the 70s with I'm not a crook.
Nixon.
Right?
Yeah.
Which created the impeachment process, which led to... Right, so Nixon ended up resigning before he got impeached.
I believe so, yeah.
Clinton, same thing. He was in the impeachment process.
Oh, can you imagine, like, the stuff that...
I can't.
Clinton is a tiny... Well, I mean, there's other stuff he's done.
I've lived through, so far, 2 impeachments of presidents.
Or almost.
Well, like I was there in the 70s, like I was young, but when Nixon was impeached. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I saw the whole thing front row center when Clinton was impeached.
Yeah.
How is it, honestly, that Trump is not in that process right now? I don't get it.
All depends on who's running the show behind him and who's supporting him, right?
Yeah.
And I guess my question is if this guy's ever found out, New York Times said they won't give up who he is. Obviously, he or she won't give up who they are either. Would they get arrested for treason?
So
stranger things have happened with arrests and whatnot.
Talk about stranger things.
Uh-huh.
We had this call from our friend Scott Badger in Russia.
Speaking of being arrested.
Oh my God, Badger, our foreign correspondent, got fucking arrested in Russia.
I would have peed myself. I would have been so fucking scared.
I don't want to give too much away, but we did get him on the line to talk about what happened, and he was legit arrested. Not only arrested, but he was questioned by the fucking FSB.
Yep. And who is the FSB?
They are like fucking CIA of Russia. Like, questioned and then escorted out of town.
Yep.
Let's tune into that conversation, because holy shit.
So when you were traveling, there was quite a kerfuffle. I'm going to call it a kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle. There was a bit of an unexpected twist to my sojourn in one of the cities in the Urals.
So last time we did discuss that you almost got a speeding ticket on your way in Estonia.
Yeah.
What happened this time, Scott?
Well, anyways.
Or are you allowed to talk about it?
Anyways, so I'm going through. I've left Perm, and I'm going east to Kachkanar, and so I'm just traveling down the highway, and I pull into Kachkanar, and I booked a hotel I go to the hotel, I check in and do all the regular stuff, paperwork. Okay, here you go. She says, where's your paperwork? I said, here you go. Oh, she looked a bit puzzled, and I said, she said, why are you here? I said, I'm a tourist. Oh, okay, great. So I, take my stuff to my room, settle in, and it's about 3 o'clock. So I figure I'm just going to sit around, read for a bit, just chill out because I've been riding all day. Yeah. So I just, basically take off my trousers, sit on the bed, crack open a book, and I'm gonna read for a bit, and then bang, 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 bang on the door. 20 minutes later, it's the cops.
Russian cops.
Russian cops. This big Russian cop.
Oh my God.
This big Russian cop. So this big Russian cop's at the door, and he starts talking to me in Russian. Not helping me much at all. So, I get out my phone and I say, so I crank out Google Translate because he's going to be asking some questions that he's not asking me whether I want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So I say, what's the deal? But, basically, what can I do for you? And he says, I need your paperwork. I said, okay, here you go. And he says, where's your permit? I said, what do you mean permit? He said, permit to be in the city. What permit to be in the city? He says, we need a permit to be in the city. I said, I didn't know you needed a permit to be in the city. Well, in order to be in the city, you need a permit.
What?
Okay. Where do I get a permit? He says, well, you have to get that before you get into the city. You need to come to the police station. Bring your documents.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
That's not something you want to hear.
I grab the passport and whatnot and hop into the back of the Niva Cossack that's been painted in police colors.
God. You must have been shitting a brick.
What?
You must have been shitting a brick.
Well, no, it's strange. I was actually pretty calm. I've got my phone here. He just takes me down here and I hop into the car. Not a problem. No cuffs or anything. No guns pulled or anything like that. Yeah. And we, so we travel down to the cop shop and we get out. He says, come on in. Sit down. Okay. So he starts talking to a couple of colleagues and he realizes we're not going to get anywhere until they get a translator.
Right.
So we go to, we wander between a couple of buildings, various offices and whatnot, and then we go upstairs, and finally, about after 2 hours of him starting to, because it's been 2 hours, and he's starting to fill out paperwork. So he's asking me basic questions like, where are you from? Where do you live? How old are you? They took 50 photocopies of my passport.
Wow.
It's just absolutely crazy. They're starting to fill out vast reams of paperwork, and the translator shows up eventually. And this guy is just a guy who happens to teach English, who's helping out the cop. He's not a police translator or anything. He's just a guy who's helping out.
Yeah.
And he says, well, apparently, and he didn't know this, Kachkanar is a closed city. So the guy who lives there didn't know that Kachkanar is a closed city.
Oh wow. And what is that? Like, why?
Oh, okay. Well,
if you had to guess.
Oh, nukes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So there are a couple. So what I gather, so I'm looking at Google Maps and Google, anyways, there's they build nukes here.
Oh shit.
So Buddy Boy, the translator was telling me after the fact. He said, well, he used to work at the radio factory, and in the radio factory, he used to build electric keyboards, but there were other parts of the radio factory that were not building electric keyboards. And it was basically an open secret that they were building electronics for some pretty high tech shit.
Wow.
And then there are other areas around the city that are it's just no go.
Wow. And so you just stumbled into this city totally not knowing.
Totally not knowing. I'd read some stuff about it. I thought, okay, well, that's kind of on the way to Irbit, which is where the Ural motorcycle factory is.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be really cool. I said, he's in Kashgar. So, anyways, I'm talking to the cop, and he's dealing with this. So they got a translator guy there, and translator guy says, you're not supposed to be here. He said, I didn't know you weren't supposed to be here. He says, I've tried to invite people to come here and their visa has been refused. He says, I never knew why. Now I know why. And so cop guy fills out this long bit of paperwork and translator guy translates it for me. And I said, okay, well, buddy, can you write this out in English? because they want me to sign this thing.
Yeah.
And buddy, he said, and the cop basically says, if you don't trust the translator, we'll get you another translator.
Oh.
Interesting.
And I said no, you don't understand. It's not I don't trust the translator. It's that I'm signing a document that I can't read.
Yeah.
He said, but he just read it to you.
Sounds like deja vu from your park speeding.
Yeah, it's deja vu all over again. So I'm looking at this document, and I'm thinking, and the document, the translation of it is actually very, it's very matter of fact, and it's very, there's nothing incriminating. There's nothing incriminating in the document. I mean, basically, the guy has written it as clearly, concisely, and as openly as possible. I.e., this guy showed up in the city. He had no idea he needed a permit. He's on his motorcycle. He's a frickin' tourist. He's agreed. He basically agreed to get out of Dodge.
Right.
And I said, okay, now I joke about how shitty my Russian is, and it really is very, very shitty. But I can look at a document, and when it's explained to me, I can see what the hell is going on enough to divine.
Right.
If there were no huge gaps, or there were no long bits or phrases that remained impenetrable,
right,
or confusing or anything else. So I thought, okay, I'm going to trust this. I'm going to sign this stuff off. So he goes and does this. He does something else, and he says, oh, by the way, here you can go with this guy here, who proceeds to take my photograph. So we've got front, side, angle, and then he proceeds to. No, he didn't fingerprint me. He palm printed me. So each finger, the thumb, the entire palm. I'm getting this inked, so I've got so there's a document with my palm prints all over it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and so that's okay, fine, whatever. And I go back and I sit down again, and then there's there's buddy number 2. Well, actually number 8 by this point, but buddy number 2 is about 29 years old, and he's wearing this shiny suit and a tie. And the translator says, okay, now we have to talk to him. And he says, I have to translate for him because he's very important.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So I then have the 2-hour interview with the FSB.
Oh my gosh!
Holy fuck!
And
the whole rigmarole starts again. I mean, basically, the guy goes through and he's asking everything. He's saying, are you a member of the Special Forces? Do you have a friend who's a member of the Special Forces? Do you have any experience with nuclear, biological, or chemical weaponry? Any of your relatives a member of the military? What did you do for your military service? Blah blah. It was, and he says, well, how come you didn't know this was a closed city? And I said, well, there's no information. He says, well, did you check out this website? I said, I checked out this website. There is nothing on this website. It's interesting. So there's an internal website called, what do they call it? The Ministry, the Federal Ministry of Migration, which is basically getting around Russia. Okay, yeah. Where can you go? Where can't you go? There's a list. There's a section that says there are some places you cannot go in Russia. These places are things like military bases, or places where they execute people or build nukes or whatever. Okay, it says you're not allowed to go to these places. Okay, great. Where are these places? They don't tell you where these places are. Why? Because you're not supposed to be there. If you're not supposed to be there, we're not gonna tell you where you're not supposed to be because you're not supposed to be there.
Wow, I see the logic. It's a ministry of aggravation.
Yeah. So it's. But if you go there, they'll tell you.
I'm surprised there weren't like roadblocks or something, or so they can check your papers as you're coming in.
And that if that had been the case, it would have been, oh wow, okay, dude, yeah, fine. Where should I go from here?
So what happened after your big grilling from the military?
Well, then they're having a debate. They're saying, well, you got to get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I said to them, but okay, guys, I've been here since 4:00. I said it's 8 p.m. now. It's starting to get dark, and the nearest town is Nizhny Tagil. We are in the middle of the frickin' Urals. It is mountainous. It is forested. It is dark, and if you haven't driven these roads, they are crap.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then the translator steps in, and he basically starts he tore the FSB guy a new one. He said it's really rude. He says you know this guy didn't know what the hell he's going on. He's paid for a hotel room. Let him stay till morning. The FSB guy said, "Okay, look, you didn't hear it from me. You can stay till morning."
Wow.
But officially, I'm kicking you out right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
okay, so all of this conversation is happening, and then at the end, both the cop and the FSB guy apologized to me. They said they felt really, really embarrassed.
Oh, wow.
They felt horrible that this had happened. They said, the trouble is, this is the law.
Yeah.
These are our jobs on the line. We've got to do this, otherwise we could get fired.
Yeah.
He said that, but they felt absolutely awful. So I fist bumped the FSB guy, and I took a selfie with the cop.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who arrested me. It was pretty awesome. And then they took me back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And then the translator guy. I went out with him and a friend of his. We went out for dinner. So we had a bite to eat, and then we had a little walk around town. And then the following day, his friend met me at the hotel, and we went for coffee. Of course, when she met me at the hotel, it was a case of she met me at the hotel, and there was a cop car waiting in front of the hotel to make sure I got on my bike and got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
And and there we go. That was it. From there, I went straight down to Yekaterinburg.
How far was that?
About 400 kilometers.
Yeah. So quite the long drive after.
Yeah.
I guess being scared shitless for a while, but it all turned out well.
Yeah. It was. Believe me, it was not expected. It was completely unexpected. I was actually planning on spending about a week in the Kachkanar area. So anyways, I get to Yekaterinburg, and I start to do some research. So Eugen, you had sent me the list list of things from it was a Guardian article about closed cities in Russia.
Yeah, it came
so I'm
out
looking at this
before.
and the interesting, Kachkanar was not mentioned on that list.
Oh.
I'm looking at other, but I'm starting to look at other cities, and they're all sort of in the Urals. Mm-hmm. These are all places where military stuff was moved to in the Second War, and they just kept it there after that.
Right.
Irbit looked a little bit dodgy with respect to the cities that were marked around it. Like, okay, so if you look at Google Maps, you see cities. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you look at Google satellite images, you see cities that aren't named.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at this stuff and I'm thinking, okay, I think I'm just going to give Irbit a miss because, what would I do in Irbit? I could go there and I could have a look at Ural motorcycles. That would be really cool.
A museum.
But, if I happen to miss the Ural motorcycle factory and stumble on the Ural missile factory, they might get a little upset.
Right,
and
especially...
I was really sort of done with upsetting the FSB.
Yeah, especially since they already have your information everywhere, right? You can't...
Yeah, and basically they said, look, you do this again, he says, we're going to kick you out of the country, and it's if, ands, or buts. We're just going to expel you.
Well, that's better than throwing you east to the gulags, I guess.
Yeah, basically. But,
oh, man.
that's, so, yeah. So there you go. That was my adventure in Kachkanar.
So, Kachkanar, hey?
Okay. So, the city that glows, don't drive into it.
Yeah. I find it interesting that people in Kachkanar also didn't really know.
Yeah. Wild, though, right? Like,
they're just very secretive.
So, maybe... And he mentioned in the conversation that he researched where to go, and there was nothing that said he couldn't go, but there's nothing that said he could go.
Yeah, because I had sent him, after he had mentioned that he's a horrible person. How we found out that he got arrested was he just basically posted on his Facebook, got arrested, spending the night in jail, or something like that. And I was like...
Vague booking like a boss.
He does that. It's annoying as hell. But, and I sent him an article that came out when Russia was hosting the Olympics. Or not the Olympics, World Cup.
Yeah, World Cup.
Places you shouldn't go, and Scott said Kachkanar was not on it.
Huh. But just because they said, if it wasn't on the list doesn't mean that it's on the list. That's kind of the point of that whole conversation. Is you just don't know.
You just don't know
when you're out there.
Just hope to God that you're going somewhere you're allowed to.
Yeah. So I'm glad he's back in St. Petersburg.
Yep.
It sounds like he's having a great time, and he might be able to tune some pianos while he's out there.
Crazy, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Huh. He's struggling with the language, but I understand that.
Well, I don't know. I haven't written this down, but there's 37 letters in the Russian language, give or take, and some of them actually make no sounds.
You thought English was hard.
Oh my god. Cyrillic? Is that right? It's a Cyrillic language?
Cyrillic-based don't language? Even know.
I might have to cut that out, but I'm pretty sure it is. And it has like upside down V's and elemental P's and yeah. That could be another clip though for another day. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know, man. Oh my god. Okay, so you may or may not know this, Panda, but I have a 1 degree of separation from Nike.
I own Nike shoes, so I have a 0.
Well, okay. So my father went to University of Oregon, and he was an athlete in track and field under Bill Bowerman. Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight, you're giving your head a shake, started Nike.
Thank you.
Right. This is back, so they started Nike in 1964. Mm-hmm. Phil Knight actually brought in shoes from Asia. And I don't know whether it's black market shoe selling. Like, we ended up picking up some suspect shoes in Manila. So I understand, like, how that could possibly work. But so Phil Knight brought them in, and he was, like, selling these shoes in North America. And Bill Bowerman was busy making waffle-soled shoes in his office at the University of Oregon.
Waffles!
In the morning, we're having waffles! And he ended up, he ended up getting sick because of that. But Phil Knight, Bill Bowerman started Nike from the base level of an athlete's journey.
Is it Nike or is it Nike?
It's Nike, and it is literally the goddess of victory.
Nice.
I want to just let that drop for a second.
Yeah, women power.
The goddess of victory.
Boom.
Is Nike. Yeah, and how much do you think that logo, the swoosh logo, cost?
$1 million trillion?
Nope.
$3.
$30.
What?
Yep, $30. They hired a friend of theirs to actually design the logo. They came up with 4, and they ended up going with the one we know today, and they were just like, it's okay.
All the other ones were a little bit worse, though.
So that's the one that they decided to go with. But the reason why I bring that up is because right now, what just happened last week, Nike stock plummeted $3.
$3.
Yeah, maybe not even $3. It went from $82, call it $83, to $79. So $44. It was $4. It dropped $4.
Heaven forbid. I think I have $4 I've lost in my car in the last day.
Yeah, and this was with the announcement of Colin Kaepernick being a spokesperson for Nike. Kaepernick?
I don't know.
Kaepernick.
I don't watch sportsing that much.
We don't sportsing a lot. But yeah, so they announced him as one of their sort of spokesmodels. And
his commercial's coming out when the NFL games are coming out.
Yeah, and people are pissed because this is the guy that knelt in protest to the violence against black Americans.
Yeah, injustice in America.
Yeah.
He's not against... Apparently, and I read this today, he sat down and someone said, I understand that you have problems, but sitting down is actually quite disrespectful in general. So I guess he and this gentleman had a talk.
Yeah.
And he said, if you knelt, it would be, I'm protesting injustice, but I'm still being respectful to the veterans.
To the flag.
Because I guess, when you kneel, kneeling is actually when do you kneel?
It's a sign of deference.
Yeah, you kneel when you propose. Football players or sports players will kneel when an injured player is coming off the field.
You kneel
kneeling
when you're knighted.
When you're knighted, exactly. Yeah. So kneeling is actually is known as being a sign of respect, and he's using it as a protest, which is not supposed to be disrespectful to.
I love it. I love it as a protest. I think that what should have been managed in that whole thing is to acknowledge it and appreciate it as a protest, as a silent, powerful protest, and then wait for people to start standing when changes happened, and now that people believe in stuff.
Sadly, he's at the wrong time of American history to.
I think he's
still kneeling.
The right time. It is, to me this is amazing. Nike said we knew that we'd take a hit, but we also knew that we're not going after that market. So there's people that are cutting this swoosh out of their socks. Well, that's dumb. Now you got holes in your socks.
And you've already bought the socks.
Yeah.
And the shoes and the shorts.
Right. There's people burning shoes, and they're like, I'll never buy Nike again. I'll never have Chuck Taylors again.
But you know what's amazing? I will buy Nike.
Yeah.
I will buy Chuck Taylors.
Well, and this is the greatest marketing ploy ever. I mean, it's not just marketing ploy. I think they did it for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
They ended up getting like millions of dollars of free advertising revenue based on that decision, and they're hitting the market that they want. So the people that, I don't want to say our age, but certainly younger, like I'm almost 50, right? I will buy Nike anyways, because I will buy my 2 times the Nikes I bought before just because of this choice.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the younger generation is like, yep, I'm behind that. That's the power. So we saw a $4 drop in their stock price, $82 to $70. Oh, yeah, so we saw the plummet over the long weekend.
Plummet in quotes.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. When you zoom into a graph and you think it goes down that quickly, it's a plummet.
Yeah.
When you zoom out, it's like a blip.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
But then you've got all these people who are just like, take that, Nike. Millions will rise against you and cut off our socks.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's not that many people. And honestly, I've seen a few articles from around the world. Like Britain's like, why are you cutting your? Are you guys dumb? Like what is we're laughing.
Yeah.
The rest of the world is laughing at you.
Yeah.
To think that it's about the flag, to think that he's saying "fuck you, America" is wrong.
Yeah.
And you're talking about disrespecting a flag that other people use the flag as bikini bottoms.
Yeah.
And towels that you sit on.
Yeah.
To keep yourself clean from the dirt. You know,
choose your convenience.
Exactly. Yeah. It's technically you're not supposed to soil the flag in any way, but the American flag's everywhere.
Yeah, and he's not soiling a flag.
No.
He's taking a knee in protest to violence. Come on.
I know. It's ridiculous.
and you're going to protest that by burning shit.
By doing another kind of peaceful protest that involves fire.
Right.
And knives and scissors. I don't get it. Yeah. So somebody's like, oh, well, it's bad to do a peaceful protest or bad to protest, and then they're protesting anyway.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's twisted.
And again,
nationalism, though, on that level, when you see nationalism like that, which we see in America quite regularly, and I shouldn't say just America, we see nationalism all over the place.
Yeah.
We see it because we're neighbors.
Yeah.
But I see American nationalism all the time, and it's a little scary.
Ultra-nationalism, definitely.
But that's what I mean, ultra-nationalism.
Yeah, it's okay to love your country. Go for it.
But
it's a little fanatical.
That, to take apart a human, who's doing something like a peaceful process in a way that he can.
Yeah.
Have his voice heard without yelling.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or throwing rocks.
Right.
Or setting fire to a building.
Yeah,
or building pipe bombs. Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
America is built on protests, honestly.
Well, it should be, right?
Every step of the way that America has gotten better has been through protests, whether it be violent or peaceful.
Right. Let's dump our tea.
Well, sitting on a different seat on the bus, Vietnam War, segregation, suffrage, the women's suffrage movement.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you're living in history all
and
the time.
Kneeling is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oy vey, I tell you.
Somebody actually posted yesterday, or was it this morning? I think it was yesterday, on Facebook. They're like, I need new running shoes. Can anybody, suggest a type or a style of shoe that I should wear for shin splints or whatever? And the first thing I wrote was Nike. Got 5 likes.
Nice.
I know 5's not a huge amount, but
hey,
I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is part of the movement. This is what nudges the needle, right? That, you know, yeah, sure, there is a dip, and I think that was just reactionary. People were just like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you slowly start to see it build back up again. We're like, oh yeah.
Okay.
The world didn't end.
No.
And, you know, it's still a viable company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it survived child labor in Asia.
Oh, man, that's a whole other thing.
Right? Like, Nike is not unblemished in this entire trajectory.
Right.
But they've done the right things, and they continue to do the right things. And I see this as one of those continuing right things.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's celebrate those heroes.
And I'm glad for Colin as well, because you don't want him to
Did he get fired? He got fired. Did he?
I want to say he was fired or he's suspended indefinitely. But it's just really nice that he has a...
Yeah.
You know,
well, he's got a voice, and he's part of a movement. And I'm glad he made that choice, and I know that must have sucked for him and his family.
Yeah,
and it probably still does suck. Like there's probably some crazy people that are, you know, spitting at him as, you know, you're listening to this. Stop doing that.
And in the end, how much does it affect you? Right. It doesn't.
Well, I think
the world is still turning.
Right. People like that, though, there are the heroes that we celebrate and we look back on and we write stories about.
Yeah.
So, good on you, Nike. Good on you, Colin.
Yeah.
NFL, those that supported him, fuck yeah. Those that, you know, went against him, fuck you.
I don't even watch NFL. I find football dull. That's a whole other story.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are we saving the world this week? Unlucky 13?
Oh my God, I've got... Okay, so many ways that I want to save the world. I'm going to go with no NAFTA is better than bad NAFTA. I'm going to parrot our Prime Minister, and don't get into a deal that's a bad deal.
My saving the world, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm also saving the world by saying, you know what? Take a job that you like. Do what you love. Do it with grace. Fuck everybody else. If they don't appreciate you for doing what you do, they're not important.
Huh.
There you go.
I like it.
Wasn't very eloquent, but you know.
Do what you love.
Yeah.
Do stuff. Find joy.
Yeah, find joy in all the things, whether it's bagging groceries for old people or
refusing to sign a deal that will fuck up the North America Free Trade Agreement. Yo. I'm Dropbear.
I'm Panda.
And we're done saving the world.
So this is Dropbear.
And Panda.
Save the world.
Episode 13. Unlucky
13. Boom.
Yo, it's Dropbear and Panda, yo. It's Dropbear and Panda, yo. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you, Panda. Coming at you like a locomotive on a motherfucking bender. Yeah, tell my culture now, my chap, follow me. Yeah, with Michael Doggies, yeah, you be checking on the flow, yo. Checking flow, bitch, you was quick, you can't pick my medical ranges, angles, tangles. You get tangled, twisted side reflexes, child should be. Can't compete with the owls that devour. Yeah, with the owls that devour, yeah. Yeah, it's a Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. It's like a locomotive filled with autonomous chopper. Dropbear and Panda, coming at you right now. It's like a locomotive filled with autonomous chopper. Dropbear and Panda.